This video is brought to you by Tempo. Stick around to the end for a special offer that they are making available through our channel. How's it hanging, my Peloton freaks, iFIT creeps, Tempo peeps, and all of the rest of you connected fitness geeks? I'm your host, Colin Jenkins. Welcome back to the Weekly Watt, where we cover all of the week's top connected fitness news stories and updates. And man, oh man, this was a doozy of a week. Peloton CEO John Foley stepped down while abruptly letting go of almost 3,000 employees, some of which got in and forced Peloton to cut off their first hands-on meeting with their new CEO. iFIT is now offering fitness experiences in real life at some of their most popular series locations, including Mount Everest, and so much more. So sit back, drink some coffee, put your feet up, smack that like button if you haven't already done so, and let's get this show started. And first, we have to discuss Peloton's enormous decision to replace John Foley with a new CEO, McCarthy, and let go of over 2,800 employees. There is a lot to unpack here, including what led up to all of this happening, what it means for Peloton and Peloton members moving forward, and what is likely to come next. So how did this all happen? Well, Blackwell Capital, who owns roughly 5% of Peloton, made public a brutal 64-page report on what they believe went terribly wrong, placing the blame solely on John Foley and other senior leadership's poor decision-making, lack of financial discipline, and misalignment of interest. The report, even though it may be a bit biased, is extremely insightful into Peloton's business as they break down just how undervalued Peloton currently is and why other tech businesses may want to badly acquire them, and shows in detail all of the poor decisions made by Peloton over the past few years, including the repeated poor handling of PR, excessive spending close to $1 billion to increase manufacturing capacity, which would only be needed if sales continue to climb as they did when everybody was on lockdown in 2020, and more excessive spending in long-term leases and employee growth, which even I was shocked to hear how many people Peloton had hired, because I was tracking this mid last year when they had like doubled their team from 2,000 to around 4,000, and I had no idea they had hired an additional 4,000 to 5,000 people since I last checked, which is, wow, a lot. And now I'm even more shocked that they just had to let go of 2,800 employees. On paper, it could have been a lot worse. And of course, they go over in detail the amount of insider selling and pledging that has happened over the past few years, allowing insiders to profit $500 million while the company growth was receding. Now, they really do put John Foley on blast repeatedly in this report, probably a bit over the top with some things taken out of context, but it does seem obvious, at least in hindsight, that the company was grossly mismanaged. And unfortunately, that means things have to change in order to get better, and fixing Peloton's problems is what led John Foley to step down from CEO and for those unfortunate layoffs to happen, which got even worse headlines this week because of Peloton offering those who were fired a free 1-year membership of Peloton classes. Now, they were actually offered quite a bit more through cash severance payments, extended healthcare coverage, and help finding new jobs. But the fact that they included this free 1 year of membership was just another dumb PR move, because of course people are going to see that and take that as an insult, especially when you know that a lifetime membership to Peloton literally cost them nothing. So this is one of those things they probably should have still done, but not really even mentioned. Peloton ex-employees are generally not happy about all of this, and even found a way to get into and disrupt the new CEO's first hands-on meeting, forcing them to end it early. And thankfully, those employees will be going into one of the hottest job markets ever. So while it sucks to go through all that, at least it's good timing. And word is that recruiters from Amazon, Meta, Spotify, and others are already trying to scoop much of the lost talent up. Now, the new CEO, McCarthy, the former chief financial officer of both Spotify and Netflix, has taken the lead role to try and course correct Peloton back into a good position. In his first email to employees, after giving a shout out to his favorite instructors, Matt Wilpers, Dennis Morton, and his enjoyment of Power Zone training, which I'm happy to hear, and hopefully he can influence the expansion of that program, he said in the email that, quote, "I know today's restructuring news has been difficult. There's no sugarcoating it. It's a bitter pill, and in my experience, the sting has a long half-life. But the hard truth is, either revenue had to grow or spending had to shrink. The math simply didn't work otherwise, and the status quo was unsustainable. One of my core management principles is about getting real. We have to be willing to confront the world as it is, not as we want it to be if we're going to be successful. We have to be honest with ourselves and each other in order to make that happen, even when the truth is uncomfortable or inconvenient to deal with. And now that the reset button has been pushed, the challenge ahead of us is this. Do we squander the opportunity in front of us, or do we engineer the greatest comeback story of the post-COVID era? I'm here for the comeback story, and here's why I think we can pull it off. The love of our members and tons of it. Over the past 12 months in the US, our net promoter scores have hit 88 and 89 for the bike and tread, respectively, which is ridiculously great. And our subscriber churn numbers are the best I've ever seen, which means our customer lifetime value is truly exceptional, end quote. And he is not wrong. As that Blackwell Capital report put out, Peloton's connected fitness subscriber count, those being the subscribers who bought a bike or tread, not the digital subscribers who just use the app, has an extremely low churn rate, which allows their current sub count to continue climbing higher and higher. And churn rate, meaning the percentage of people who leave per month, is one of the single largest predictors of how large a subscription-based company can get. So Peloton still has an unbelievable amount of potential if they can correct this ship, because what makes Peloton great and why people love it has not changed one single bit. So now, what's next? Well, no one is thinking 69-year-old Barry McCarthy, who has come out of retirement for this role, is going to be staying around for a long time. Like at the end of a baseball game when a pitcher is replaced with a closer to finish it out strong, well, Barry is Peloton's closer, and his job really is to help clean up Peloton's mess, hopefully get its valuation up, and then most likely put up a for sale sign to receive bids from any of the larger tech companies who want to acquire them. There's always a possibility they do not sell, but at this point I think that is more unlikely than not, as it would probably be the best for everyone, including all the instructors and all of the members, to be under a company that has more of their shit together. Until then, expect a bit of a bumpy road ahead, especially when it comes to deliveries, as Peloton is cutting back on their own delivery program and will be relying more heavily on third-party deliverers like XPO, which I don't know what's going on with that company, if it's having trouble training people or whatever, but generally it seems that 50% of the time they are not making their deliveries as scheduled, or they show up with a broken product, or they put it together wrong. I mean, they are having a lot of issues, and complaints and reports of problems have really been increasing over the past month. So if you make an order, cross your fingers, cross your toes, and anything else that you can cross to hopefully have a successful delivery. Okay, take a breath. There's actually some more news about Peloton, good news in fact, but let's take a breather and talk about some other news updates first. One being that this week NordicTrack released their brand new S27i Bike. And yes, this bike's 27-inch high-def screen is the largest display of any connected fitness bike we've seen so far. I am super intrigued by this, as iFIT, who owns NordicTrack, who hands down has the best scenic content out there, and I really want to try those classes out on this new larger screen and see how it compares to the S22i or even the Peloton Bike Plus, which has a 24-inch screen. Speaking of iFIT, they are now going beyond being a program in your home and are now offering several real-life programs with iFIT trainers that you can sign up for, including many destinations that make up some of their most popular programs, like Costa Rica, the French Alps, Iceland, Kilimanjaro, and even the Mount Everest base camp. Personally, I'm content traveling the world on my treadmill, but I think it's pretty neat for those who see these locations in their workouts, the opportunity to visit them and work out while exploring them in real life. iFIT has also announced a unique challenge this week called the Rise and Shine March Champion Challenge, during which you'll choose one of 5 brand new series for the elliptical, treadmill, strength, rower, or bike taught by a Winter Olympic athlete. Finish a series and you'll get a bronze, silver, or gold medal sent to you in the mail, and you can earn multiple medals by completing more than one series. I am always down for a good challenge, and as I said last week, I hate when iFIT offers up their digital rewards for challenges, but I love when you can actually earn something that you can physically keep. So I am personally excited to take these challenges on as I review some of the new NordicTrack equipment which was released this month. Now let's head back to 2 good pieces of news for Peloton members. One is that the beta for the upcoming Peloton video game mode Lanebreak has finally ended, and they plan to release this mode to all Peloton bikes very soon, according to some sources as soon as Valentine's Day. And we finally have a launch date for the new Peloton Guide, currently looking at a soft launch on April 5th. Personally, I have very low expectations for that device, and based on what I've seen so far, cannot really believe that they think a ton of people will want to buy this for $500, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that it turns out to be great. I'll definitely be testing it out as soon as I can. And now a big shout out to Tempo, who has some exciting news of their own, which I'll be covering next week, for sponsoring this video and making the weekly watt possible. If you haven't checked out my review of the Tempo Studio and the Tempo Move, you definitely should, because Tempo is doing a hell of a lot right that so many other connected fitness companies are doing wrong, especially when it comes to strength training. Most people know that Tempo is able to track reps and weights and give you suggestions and form feedback, but very few people know that the even bigger benefit is having strength programs that are progressive from one week to the next and give you complete details of what you will be doing, and the ability to create a meaningful and successful strength program with dumbbells, kettlebells, boxing, and even barbell strength classes, which are some of the best strength classes available on any platform. Whether you want to get stronger, lose weight, or just feel great, I strongly recommend checking Tempo out. You really won't regret it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this weekly Watt News update. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future episodes, which we make each and every week. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it as always. See you next time.